Hello, I'm Jess. I'm the designer illustrator behind Escalou. This week I'm designing a logo for a photographer. Here are a few examples of logos that I have created in the past, and I will be using the same design process as I did in the previous video and as I did to create these designs. So let's take a look at the design brief. As always, I send my clients a logo design questionnaire. I like to write down the answers that my clients provide so I can get a good picture in my head of what it is that my client is looking for. My client takes some really beautiful family and wedding baby portraits, and she loves to use nature in her photography. She also really liked the idea of using an emoji that would relate to her logo design. And therefore I knew I wanted to include a very simple camera shape which kind of looks similar to the camera emoji, as well as incorporating a lot of nature elements, specifically of florals that come from the high coast of Sweden, which is where my client is from. Other requests that were mentioned was that the logo design needed to be able to stand alone from the text, as well as look great on a hoodie. Now that we have the design brief, let's do some research. I use Pinterest to get an idea of what kind of photography logos are out there. If I see anything that sparks an idea, then I will pin it to a board. It can be an idea, a composition, or perhaps a style that I quite like. For me, it's a stage where I collect a lot of different imagery, which will hopefully give me a nice starting place or a mood board that my client might like. Once I have the initial collection, it's always good to check the More Ideas section. Pinterest will then do its magic and offer up a few more ideas which might go well with my current board. As I wanted to incorporate nature elements from the high coast of Sweden, I also wanted to check out the beautiful scenery. And with the research done, it's time to come up with 3 logo design ideas. My client wanted a photography logo that, when you look a little bit closer, you can see nature elements. My first idea was a camera shape being formed of nature elements such as florals and leaves. Secondly, I wanted to try out a camera shape that was kind of wrapped in florals. And my last idea was to create a half-moon semicircle behind a camera shape, which would be surrounded by floral or nature elements. And I knew I wanted to do something with negative space in this design. We've got the ideas, so we can start sketching. I started by making a simple camera shape, and I plan to use this as a kind of template for my concepts. And I'm keeping in mind the original emoji design, but I decided to change the shape into something a little bit more professional instead of this compact sort of everyday camera. Now that we have the camera shape prepared, it's time to add in the florals. For the florals, I'm taking inspiration from the woodland geraniums, as well as this cute Arctic bell-shaped flower. Again, I'm using the template that I created to form the second design. Here I'm using these beautiful Arctic poppies around the left side of the camera shape, as I wanted this one to be a lovely, simple line art design. I originally wanted to create a semicircle behind the camera shape, which would be made out of negative space, but it didn't turn out that way, and sometimes it's okay to delve away from the original idea. I'm decorating this design with some lovely woodland anemones, which I found was featured in a few of my clients' photos. Now that the sketches are finished, we can add some line art. Again, I'm just using the default Procreate brush called Tinderbox, using nice confident brush strokes that feel natural. And finally, I changed the color to black in preparation for vectorization. I sent the screenshot to the Adobe Illustrator on my iPad. Press the vectorize button, and here it's just a matter of fiddling around with the settings until it looks right. I'm checking that the design stays true to the original line art and trying to keep as much detail as possible. On my computer, I use the erase brush to clean up the lines. I then choose the font for the text. As well as the color palette. My client wanted colors inspired by nature, especially green tones. And after checking over the designs that everything is properly aligned, here is the final result. Which one would you choose? After making some minor changes, my client chose this one. Congratulations on your new logo! And don't worry, the other two designs will be placed into my shop and they will become pre-made logo designs for any photographer who might find it fitting for their business. Thanks for watching and see you next time!